you're talking in your case like a 30 plus year age gap. Is it safe to say these people you're attracted to would be old enough to be your father?
Yeah, my father, my grandfather, the main guy that I'm attracted to, that I have very little chance with, he's actually 59 years old.
Oh, so it gets up there.
Welcome back to Other People's Lives. I'm Joe Santagato.
I'm Greg Dybec.
For anyone out there that would like to be a guest on our show, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Our email is oplpodcast@gmail.com.
Today, we're speaking to a woman who reached out with the subject line, I'm 19 years old and I'm attracted to 50-year-old men. She talked about how she has had multiple sexual and romantic experiences with older men above the age of 50. We're talking about an age gap kink here. Can't believe we've never spoken about this on the show, but we're excited. We know this is something that triggers a lot of people, I've realized. So we've got the guest on. We're going to learn all about it. And thanks so much for being on today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So can you just, I guess, define your kink personally, this age gap kink? When did you sort of realize that you had this attraction for much older men? And can you just describe what it is exactly that attracts you so much to them?
Yeah, so I guess my definition of it would be a more broad definition would be a younger person and just someone with a very significant difference in age. I mean, it could be 5 to 10 years for like normal people. That's a big age gap. But for me, that's like mild, version of it. But where it started, it's kind of hard to really pinpoint. I mean, growing up, I've always been into like a lot of shows and movies where there'd be like a character who's kind of more rugged, definitely a little older than me. They're always older than me because they're actors and everything, but they'd be older and I'd be like, oh, well, he's kind of cute, whatever. But as you see actors all the time and you get crushes on them, but it's just an actor. You don't really think anything of it. Well, so I guess where I realized that this attraction doesn't just end with actors and begins with real people is probably like 2023, so very recently, where I've kind of gotten myself into a community where all the main people in it are older guys. And so, the more that I'm personally interacting with them, the more I'm like, wow, these guys are so cute and they're so funny and everything. So, and it just sparks a certain kind of like excitement that guys my age just don't entice in me, I guess.
Okay.
Have you ever been attracted to people that are around your age?
Yeah, I mean, my age right now, kind of, but when I'm growing up, there are definitely like boys in my class and some girls too, or I'm like, oh, they're so cute, and I would love to date them, and I would ask, and they would say no. But currently, I really just haven't been as attracted to anybody my age. I see somebody and I think they're cute, as you do. Like you walk on the street and you see somebody and you're like, oh yeah, that'd be cool if they went out with me or whatever. But definitely not as much as when I see like an older man.
So you're talking in your case like a 30 plus year age gap. Is it safe to say these people you're attracted to would be old enough to be your father?
Yeah, my father, my grandfather, the main guy that I'm attracted to, that I have very little chance with, he's actually 59 years old.
Oh, so it gets up there.
Yeah, he's older than my actual grandma and grandpa.
Whoa.
Why do you say you have no chance with?
Oh, because it's just, well, I have tried to be involved with him romantically and or sexually, and I've kind of tried to put the moves on him a couple times, and every time he put me down very gently but firmly, and it's funny because the only reason that I even try as much as I do is just because, or as much as I did, is because he was into me at one point. So there was mutual feelings there.
Oh.
Okay. And your last like romantic relationship, how old was that man?
He is 52.
This is current?
Not currently involved. We're actually no contact right now.
Okay. But this is someone that you were with romantically and sexually for some time?
Yes.
52. Yes. Okay. And you're 19 currently?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. I mean, yeah, I guess that attraction also has to go both ways. You then have to find an older gentleman who is willing to have the reverse age gap. But I'm curious so I hear like I'm not attracted to older men, but like I get the appeal. Starting a sentence with that. But no, okay, I'm thinking like, come on, Paul Rudd, Steve Carell. Like I get what you're saying with actors where it's like, it feels like they have this world of experience, you know, some men that are aging well versus, you know, maybe you meet or see, or even if it's not necessarily true, but you perceive them as having this sort of like wisdom and experience. And then that compared to, you know, an 18, 19-year-old guy, like I can understand an attraction towards that. But what then made you, I guess, take the step to like, oh, let me see if I can, like in the real world, like not just be attracted to these people on screen or the idea of this age gap, but go out and pursue men who are over 50? Well,
it wouldn't be possible if these other older men were not also interested in me. Mostly first, you know, I'm a very shy person and very introverted. So the thought of going out and trying to hit on somebody that I'm like I'm on the bus and I see this older guy in a suit that he's just minding his business, I'm not going to sit down and try and chat him up or anything. That's just way too scary. So these guys, the guys I've been involved with, they've pretty much all said something to me or interacted with me in a way that I'm like, oh, I see what you're putting down, you know. So I mean, like the first time with the 59-year-old, it was just a lot of just very cutesy flirting and, you know, a lot of heart emojis. And, you know, when you get heart emojis from older guys, you know that it's for real. Okay. That is some serious business.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you even are capable of getting an emoji, I feel like that's a big step. Heart emojis. Yeah.
Have any of these older men been married or in relationships?
Unfortunately, one has. And do you want me to share that story briefly?
If that's up to you, if you'd like to or not.
Yeah, well, I'll just share it. It's not, you know, I am not at all, you know, I'm attracted to the older men and everything. I'm not into the cheating kink at all. People are really into that. The people that are cheating all the time are on this podcast. I just don't like it, you know. I think it's very bad. But there's this one time, this was someone that I was very close friends with for like 2 years prior. So we were, you know, it was such a wholesome friendship that I never had it in my mind that he was at all interested in me at all. But I've visited the town that he's in earlier this year. This is the most recent event, actually. Mm-hmm. I visited him earlier this year, and he was, I mean, it was just a wholesome weekend like it always is, you know, like just lots of hugs and platonic like saying, oh, I love you. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's nice. You know, I love my friends, too. But it wasn't until I was like staying at his house that weekend instead of getting like a hotel or anything that, well, you know, I can't actually get a hotel because I'm 19. So, but, you know, I'm at his place and he starts saying, you know, telling me that, you know, oh, can I give you a compliment? You're so beautiful. And, you know, I know that you're into older guys and everything. So, you know, had it not been, I had a girlfriend, you know, I definitely would be trying to go out with you. And I'm like, oh my God, what is happening right now? Could not even believe what was happening in front of me. And earlier that night, I don't know if this was him planting the seeds for this or what, but he was just complaining and complaining about his girlfriend who has cancer.
Oh,
He's complaining
plot
about
twist.
his cancer girlfriend, and then later it starts telling me about how much he likes me, and I'm like, okay, so in my head, I feel bad, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, he's definitely going to. He seems like he's going to break up with his girlfriend any day now, because he doesn't like her, and no one wants to be the guy that break up with the cancer girlfriend, but. I'm just like, it's totally gonna happen. So maybe this is okay to do. Maybe this is fine. So I forgot what the original question was, but
I do too, but I think you answered it.
So I'm guessing this ended in a not as wholesome way.
No, he is a kind of like I don't know how to describe him, but he ended up just saying, you know what? I decided that I'm actually really in love with my girlfriend after all. And instead of, trying to, kind of keep our friendship intact that I've had for as long as I've had my girlfriend, I'm just going to not talk to you. I'm not going to be friends with you anymore. We're not going to interact. And I'm like, okay,
so
whatever.
you did do something that night. And then he sort of was like, hey, I'm out of here. I'm not going to do this anymore.
It wasn't something that I did necessarily. It was like we were trying to plan for me to go out there and see him again, and then he was like that whole notion of actually like physically cheating on his girlfriend like scared him a lot. So I mean I understand, and I'm kind of like I'm glad that this never happened. I was kind of in over my head.
Okay.
Well, and you said that you had been friends 2 years prior, right?
Yeah.
So you were underage.
Yeah.
And you guys were friends. How often, like...
It was the tail end of the year of me being 17. My birthday is at the very beginning of the year. So, so it's not like he knew me since, I was freshly 17. I was almost 18, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah. But did the girlfriend know about you? Like, did they know that you guys were friends?
Yeah, she definitely knew that we were friends. I was friends with her. But he did end up, as far as I'm aware, he did end up telling her everything that happened between us.
How old is she?
I think she's around his age.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So why, as someone who pursues these relationships and has this attraction, why do you think that some people will look at this and get so triggered, or just simply say like, this is gross, or like age gaps shouldn't be this big, or even especially put it on like the men who are then attracted to someone that is so much younger than them, or like freshly not underage anymore? Yeah,
I think it's the main reason that people are not okay with it, and I understand that they think it's weird. They think the guy is creepy and being a predator on the girl, and they call it pedophilic, which I definitely can see in a lot of cases. Like there are a lot of cases of these age gap relationships where the older person, whether it's a male or female, they get into a relationship with these younger people that they knew since they were children, and absolutely. I hate that. That is disgusting. But like no one like helped like raise them basically. That is that I definitely think is very wrong. So, and that is, I feel like there is some pedophilia to that, but these regular ones where it's like, oh, I'm 18 and I'm dating this super older guy. People just don't like it. I think that the guy's creepy and preying on them. And like I said, I understand, but I just don't agree with that. I just don't think that it's always that case.
So you think that's a misconception for the relationships that you've been in? You think that it's just kind of like a genuine attraction, and doesn't, I mean, I guess that's a hard question to ask, because do you think there has to be a bit of a kink element to it? Like understanding that age gap is taboo?
I don't think there has to be, but there definitely can be. And I mean, I don't think that there's anything wrong with getting in a relationship with somebody because you share like a kink, and then that's like the main proponent of your relationship or anything. I think that's like, sometimes I think it's kind of healthy, like you're both on the same level. Before we finish this conversation, we do have a sponsor, and that sponsor is Brooklyn Bedding.
Listen, there are a lot of things that I want in life, but one thing that I always wanted was a king size bed. I was waiting for this moment, building up this moment for when I get to sleep in a king size bed, and now finally I am. And that's why I'm so happy, and that's why I feel so good. Brooklyn Bedding came through with my very first king size bed. Also, the most comfortable bed that I've ever had. And on top of it being comfortable and an amazing size, it has solved so many of my sleeping problems. Before I had a Brooklyn Bedding mattress, I would have trouble sleeping through the night. Definitely a sweater, like a lot of you guys I know. I'd wake up, you pull the sheets off there, it's like yellow, is disgusting. I don't have that problem anymore since getting this mattress. I feel great when I wake up. I don't have little back pain that I used to have, and sleeping through the night more than I ever have. Brooklyn Bedding has been around for over 25 years. They're known for their top of the line comfort and quality, but it doesn't come with that luxury price tag. Even though you're sleeping in luxury, it's affordable, which is one of the best parts about it. I chose to upgrade to the Cloud Pillow Top. This has a cooling technology that leaves you cool and comfortable all night long. Very happy I did that upgrade. Highly recommended. And you can sleep on your Brooklyn Bedding mattress for up to 120 nights. And if you don't love it as much as I do, they will help you return it or pick out a different one. So it's worth a shot. You get 120 nights on this to decide if this is the bed for you. So go to brooklynbedding.com and use the promo code OPL at checkout to get 30% off site-wide. This offer is not available anywhere else. You have to use the promo code OPL on the very last page of checkout to get this discount. That's brooklynbedding.com. Use the promo code OPL for 30% off. brooklynbedding.com, promo code OPL. Trust me, you're going to love the sleep on this thing. And now back to the episode.
Mm-hmm. And how... Is there like these brackets? Because is this like, I'm assuming by the way that you're speaking that this is, I guess, a pretty big kink that you have. Is there like an age that you're like, all right, that might be a little too old, or an age usually that you're like, all right, well, they're like, would you be really attracted to someone who was like 41, or you'd be like, I wish they were a little older?
Oh, I'd be okay with 41.
Okay.
And, a lot of it is the age, but it's also, the maturity and the look that comes from like the physical appearance of being older.
Got it.
There can be like a 30-year-old and he has all silver hair. I think that is just the hottest thing in the world.
Wow.
That is just
interesting.
I just love it. And, definitely, like, the aging of the face, the way that it kind of just adds an edge to somebody, I think that is also just very attractive to me. And as for the oldest, it's the same thing. It just kind of depends. Like if they're like 90 with dementia, they're in the nursing home, probably not for me. But if they
maybe,
probably not. But if they're like 80, 70, 80, but they're spry and they have like a youthful twinge to them that doesn't make them seem like they're 80, like not youthful as in my age youthful, but like they're still like jumping around, kind of like Ringo Starr. Have you ever seen Ringo Starr recently?
Not
like,
recently.
He's very spry.
Is he?
He's jumping. He's been on tour and he's just jumping up around on stage. He's like 80.
Got it.
Okay.
Like that's awesome.
So I feel weird at like that sound gross, but like they have to be able to be sexually active, I assume.
Yeah, pretty much. They don't have to be able to get it up for me to have fun, but that's
why not?
It'd be a plus. Oh well, I don't know why not.
I feel like that's a big part of. I don't know how to dig myself out of this question.
Yeah, I don't know either.
No. See, hold on. Let's stay on this for a second. What?
You can ask anything. I don't care.
But don't they have to be able to like please you as well?
Well, you don't need penetration to have a good time.
Right.
You're right. You're right.
Okay. So, at the moment, do you think that as you get older, will your attraction to like, I don't know if this makes any sense, but you said you're 19 right now. Do you think that when you're 25, this will be the same sort of group of men that you're attracted to and will always kind of pursue?
I think probably. I mean, it's hard to say. So right now, I'm not totally sure. I'm wondering. It's kind of like it's a thought for me too, because I'm kind of wondering, like, as I get older, will my age catch up with the age of the guys I'm attracted to, and then it'll be normal for everybody,
Right.
or what will happen? Will it reverse? I hope it doesn't reverse. I don't want to be into younger guys.
Oh,
at
that's
all.
interesting. Like
Yeah.
if you get older and then you still want an age gap, so then it flips
Yeah.
and you're into younger guys.
I hope that's not the case, because I don't want to be the one that looks like they're creepy.
Have you dated any of these older gentlemen for like an extended period of time to the point where they have met your family?
Well, depends on your definition of dating. Like, do you call dating specifically being boyfriend, girlfriend, or like being involved romantically and sexually, but you don't have to have a label?
I mean, I guess my actual question is, does your family know that you're dating these men?
Yeah, they know.
And have they ever said anything like, hey, these guys are pretty old?
My mom, actually, when she kind of always suspected that I was super into these older guys or whatever, but I don't think she ever anticipated me actually being involved with any of them. So when I started being involved with one of them, she was kind of mad, but she was like, "Well, you're an adult. I can't do anything about it, so whatever." And he's basically like, "Well, I live with that one right now, so it's kind of like,
Whoa.
like whatever."
So your dad has met a guy his age and he's like, "Yep, I'm dating your daughter."
Yeah.
I would
actually.
love to hear your parents' perspective on
That is a
that.
toughie.
Because like especially at that phase of life, you're older, and like you look at these cohorts of people that are like in your same age group that have, similar life experience or have, gone through the motions, but then but then when your kid's a different age, I'm just thinking out loud here. It's like I can see why someone in like your parents' position, an initial thought would be like, that's not supposed to mix in that way.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. My dad is the same. I mean, I'm not involved. My dad doesn't. My dad is kind of mostly out of the picture for me, but he is. He was here. He visited here last year for my graduation, and he met the guy that I live with and was involved with at the time, and he's like, he understood the most out of anybody, because my dad is the same. He is very attracted to older women, to the point where it's kind of problematic, like 17-year-olds.
Wait, younger women or older women?
Younger. My dad is in a young woman.
Oh, you said your dad's attracted to 17-year-olds?
Yeah, the last girl that he dated, he was 17.
That's illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is illegal, and he got her pregnant.
All right. Well, this feels like a twist.
It's no good.
Yeah.
Well, it's whatever. My dad is the reason that I'm even into these guys, because I have such bad daddy issues. So it's part of it is like, oh, I guess that's not surprising.
I was going to ask if you actually do think that it stems from any relationship with your parents or childhood trauma, or like anything that you feel you can pinpoint the development of this kink and interest.
Yeah, it definitely comes from my insane daddy issues, because my dad has pretty much never been involved in my life since I was a little kid. I mean, he wouldn't even do the bare minimum of providing my mom with child support. So it's pretty dumb. And I've always kind of craved, having a father figure around. And my mom, she wouldn't try to provide one, but she would always have men around that would quickly step in as the role of a father figure. But it was a lot of different guys. Like, she would jump around from guy to guy, and so it was hard to really grasp onto one and then cling to him as that guy. So
you see, it's like, we're not experts, but like it feels hard to refute that, like, like that there would be a void of a father figure, and then there's like a big interest or desire to, fill that in a way. Obviously, like, I think where it gets confusing for people is then like the romantic sexual aspect, but that like figure not being there in your life and then wanting someone to fill that void makes sense.
Exactly.
I mean, I also, like, I guess before I get to my next question, don't really want to glaze over the fact that your father, like, that is insane what your dad did. And I hope that, like,
terrible.
that's like a very illegal thing. But, for me personally, my view of it, if I knew someone who was my age and I'm 33, and they were into someone who was like 17 or 18, even if they were, let's just say they were your age, they're 19 years old, which that's not illegal. I would still, my first kind of reaction, I think it's like everyone sort of shares the same sentiment, is like, what do you have in common with a 19-year-old? Now we're talking about like a bigger gap than that. So someone in their like late 50s and you being 19, do you feel like you guys have things in common, or do you just really like, are you guys actually really good friends that talk about, what's going on in your life and stuff? Or is it just a physical sort of relationship?
Yeah, that is always the thing that comes up too. I almost forgot about that. Is people saying, "Oh, what do you guys have in common? What could possibly be in common with this age and that age?" Well, in my case, I have a lot in common with these guys that I'm involved with, because we're in this very specific, very niche type of like music community, and we have almost everything in common. I mean, I'm not a musician, but I'm very interested in music and this type of music that we're all into. And so, I mean, there can be conversation, and a lot of them are artists as well, like artists. They're all artists pretty much. So there's a lot of things to talk about. I mean, and it doesn't just end there. I mean, no, we're not talking about having a mortgage or going on a Hawaii vacation with our 4-piece family or whatever. It's just, there was a lot more to talk about than whatever. I don't know what things are what are we supposed to have in common that you guys are not, that people do not understand? That's my question. Like, what are you guys thinking about that's like, oh, you don't have that in common, so why can't you borrow your friends?
I mean, I really don't have like a specific example, honestly. I imagine it would be very difficult to communicate with someone who's that much younger than me, just because like they view the world in a very different way. I mean, when I was that age, it was very different than when, like my parents were 18 years old or something. Like when I was 18, like I didn't feel like I could really relate that much to my oldest brother, who's only 8 years older than me. Like, not about everything. Like, we of course could have conversations and connect in some way, but I did feel like there was this experience gap maybe, or like he didn't really understand what it's like to be my age because he's older than me. And I imagine, I guess in my experience, I imagine that when there's a multiple of that, where like, they're 30 years older than me, that it would feel very different. We're looking at the world through very different lenses.
Yeah, I can understand that, but even so, I mean, it's not like these older guys were never 19. They can definitely understand where I'm coming from, and then, change not really change who they are, but like be able to communicate with me and understand better than if someone that wasn't really understanding of. These people are just the people that I happen to involve myself with are very down to earth, I guess, and they're very young at heart, I guess I would say. So they kind of are able to relate to me and converse with me in a way that I would converse with somebody my age, I guess, except that they text very differently because they're 50 fucking years old.
Do you feel like there's an equality in the relationship, or is there sort of a dynamic where they're like nurturers or protectors, or do you feel like they try to like explain the world to you, or like, is there a dynamic where it feels like they are actively treating you as a younger, less experienced person, or do you not feel that at all?
Well, here's the thing. Having that kind of dynamic, I mean, this kind of goes against what I was just saying, but having that kind of dynamic is kind of part of why I have this kink and why I enjoy it. I enjoy the thought of an older person kind of taking care of me and, I guess treating me like a daughter, but not really. I don't really want to be called like, oh, you're my little girl. Like, no, that's kind of weird. I just like being, nurtured in that way and having that kind of, I guess, power dynamic, but there's not a power dynamic over the phone. So, which is where most of these conversations even take place. But, just being I don't know. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it's like, yeah, if there is that dynamic that exists, it's actually the thing that you're looking for. You want there to be a component of that that's like, duh, like I'm going out of my way to date someone older with more life experience that will treat me like that. So I do understand. If you fell in love with one of these people and they, didn't have a wife or anything like that, what if they proposed to you, like, and you were in love, like, would you actually settle down with someone with this age gap?
The 59-year-old that I was talking about is probably the only one right now that I would absolutely marry within seconds if he asked me, like, today. I would totally say yes.
And do you consider the future of, for example, I don't know if you would want children one day with this person, or that, one day that gap would then be like, 30 to like 79, or, like they would get very, very old and potentially not be spry or capable, and just the reality pass away while you are still in your prime and very young.
Yeah, that's definitely something that is a sad part of it. I just kind of, I'm thinking about it with this 59-year-old, him turning 70 and me being however old I would be is much closer than if I were to be with the 52-year-old or a 40-year-old or whatever. But the good thing is I don't want kids. He doesn't want kids. So that wouldn't be an issue. I don't want kids right now. I don't really know. I'm only 19. But I kind of enjoy the thought of eventually having to be the one to take care of him, just because I love him so much,
Oh, interesting.
I really would love, even without having to marry him, this guy specifically, I would love to be the one to take care of him when he gets older and have to look and be able to look after him the same way that he looks after me right now.
Yeah, those roles like switch at a certain point.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's just because I love him so much, like it's just that genuine.
Love is love. Yeah. You're not going to say no, I guess, if the person you love says, I want to spend the rest of our time together. Do you truly not care about judgment? Like if you were with this person and out with them and people are clearly looking at you or, maybe making comments, are you just able to completely brush that off?
I mean, it's my life, and that's the thing. I mean, if they don't approve of it, then that's their life. But I'm happy with how I'm living and with who I'm with, whom I'm holding hands with. That's my thing. I do what makes me happy. If it doesn't make them happy, then they should be happy that they're not in this relationship because they don't have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very fair and very true. Wow. Okay. So, I mean, what about your friends? Are your friends kind of like, oh yeah, that's our friend. She likes to fucking date older dudes.
Basically, yeah. I have a pretty good group of friends, which I'm very lucky for, because I have one friend who, and I've heard the same experience with other people, is this person is also attracted to older people. And they've had experiences where their friends have literally dropped them because they're like, oh, I don't like this relationship of yours. This is wrong, and we're not going to be your friends anymore. And they literally lost friends because they were in an older, younger relationship. And it's because of that mentality from earlier is like, they think that the older guy is creepy, so this whole relationship is weird and it's bad. Mm-hmm. But then in my head, I'm like, why would you leave your friend if you think they're in a dangerous situation? Don't you want to like help them? I don't understand why they would just drop them. But so I'm glad that I don't have friends like that.
No, totally. And yeah, it's just, we said it at the top. It's just, it's very triggered. It's just one of those things where, like you said, it's your relationship. People don't have to be in that type of relationship if they don't want to, but it really brings out people's opinions on the matter and triggers a lot of people, whether it's right or wrong. Totally do understand the aspect of like the pedophilia aspect and like how easy it then can be to potentially cross the line, like using your dad as an example. That's horrible to hear and not good at all. But yeah, and I feel like there's also a bad rap too, where like you don't come across as like, I'm trying to just, get with an old guy and like get in his will before he dies, and then I'll move on to the next. Like I know a lot of people associate, the age gap with that as well, where it's just like a ploy to, get some money from someone who doesn't have much time left. But that obviously doesn't seem like the case with you. You're just kind of in it for the fun, the experience, and I guess the love if it comes, like this 59-year-old.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today and, offer this insight. Like Greg said earlier, like, I mean, it's kind of wild. We've never really had this conversation before, but I think this has been quite the peek behind the curtain of this kink.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, no, thanks for being so open. It seems like you're open about it, with everyone in your life. And best of luck. I don't know why this guy showed interest and then turned you down, but I don't know. Maybe you'll have another.
I don't know either.
Maybe you'll have another go at him.
His girlfriend, I think, was a big driving factor.
Wait, he had a girlfriend?
Yeah.
No, that's two different
That's
guys.
Cant's girlfriend.
okay,
This is the
sorry.
59-year-old.
Oh, I'm
We
sorry.
just don't know why.
I
Maybe
was
he's
mixing
playing
those
hard
up.
to get. We'll see.
Yeah, it's hard to keep them straight sometimes.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
All right,
bye.
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 Well, there you have it. I mean, so, oh man, that was, that took a turn there in the middle for a second.
Oh, there are a lot of turns.
That really
Yeah.
threw me off a little bit there.
Oh, her dad? Yeah, that is.
Yep, that's a big illegal act for sure, felony. But I will say that I think that, from speaking to her, I think that she's being genuine. I mean, I think there is something with, her father, and she kind of acknowledges that, yeah, maybe it is because like I'm looking for a father figure and these men and things like that. And I think that the issue that people have with that is that you could potentially be open to being taken advantage of from these older men.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what people's worry is. She seems to be aware that exists, but still just can't fight the fact that she has this attraction to older men. And if what am I going to say?
I know. And it goes both ways. And I guess the thing is like with her, if there's no insidious reason for her, again, she's not trying to get in a will or push some guy around in a wheelchair and pretend she loves him. She just has this attraction. She enjoys the relationship, the dynamic. She likes being nurtured and taken care of. So from her perspective, it's if she's into that and she's of age, it's the other side that I think more of the judgment kind of falls on, the guy that's into the younger girl, because that's where it can be so blurry, or what are the motives behind this, or is this attraction just too young? Does it just feel like it's for someone too young?
I think that it's the other way. It's not just men. I think that women who are attracted to much younger men,
and that too,
granted, that's a little less taboo than older men going for younger women. But personally, I still look at that of you're 50 something and you're dating a 19-year-old. I'd be like, what the fuck? That's very strange. But I don't think it's impossible, but I think that it's hard for me to understand, because again, the example I was giving is I just think that there's two different worlds you're sort of living when you're
I'm trying to play devil's
older.
advocate in my mind with myself as she's saying that, and it's yeah, but then you wouldn't say that about we're from different cultures or different religion, relationships and love don't have to be formed with everyone having the same life experience or the same value, but I guess it's just I get what you're saying. It's
very uncommon.
An equality of moving through the general same stages of life. Your worldview, your perception of these things change as you get older, as you experience more.
It's true. I think the issue is that 19 is very different than being 28 and doing this. If you're 28 years old and you're really into 70-year-old guys, I don't think anyone really cares that much. Mm-hmm. I think if you're 19 and you're really into 60-year-olds, then people are going to be like, you're 19, you're very young, your brain is still sort of malleable, and you know what I mean? People can make that argument. So that's why it feels a little more sensitive to this. Because again, if someone was 30 years old and was I'm really into this 70-year-old guy, I'd be like, that's a giant gap, but do your thing.
Right.
Whatever.
This is the most extreme sort of age gap in a way.
Yeah.
Of someone we could have spoken to, because specifically of how young she is. Like she said, you can't rent a car, you can't get a hotel, you can't legally drink. There's a lot of people consider adult, like it's not the age of consent, like she's past that, but it's like a lot of people label adulthood as 21 and up.
I think what it boils down to, it's hard to understand how you can have a romantic relationship without this relatability, and people find it very hard to relate when you're 30 years older than somebody.
Yeah.
You know?
I guess they're finding other things. You know, she kept hinting at this community. I don't know if she was a musician herself or artist, and it seems like there's something where she's finding these particular men within a community that has a very specific interest. So whether that's like musicians or something, like understandable, that is like a core commonality that they can share on like a deep level. But yeah, it just is like, you know, I mean, we're as non-judgmental as possible on the show, but like, you know, we're not hiding the fact that even us, like, I just never really thought about it. I wouldn't judge someone in person if I saw it, but yeah, then hearing it. And then I think when you do have kids of your own and start considering like what those age gaps would be, it just makes your mind wonder a lot of different things.
For me, I keep saying this, but like for me, it's just the fact that she's 19, and that is the only part where I'm kind of like, you know, but again, I don't think it's impossible. I don't think it's impossible that she could have actual, you know, romantic relationships with men that are much older than her. I don't think that's impossible. I think that it's uncommon. I think that it's
totally
probably difficult. And I think that
it wouldn't be as taboo as it was, you know, as it is if it was like very uncommon, I would say.
Yeah. And I think that like age gaps exist. People, you know, there's a fucking Sarah Paulson. I don't know how old Sarah Paulson is, but her partner is elderly.
Okay.
And like she even makes jokes about it. You know what I mean? Like her partner is elderly, and I think that like it exists in the world, but as an adult, like you reach a point in your life where it's like, this is who I'm going to be for the rest of my life. I personally don't think that's 19 years old. Yeah. I know that when I was 19, I would say, yes, it is.
And she's aware though. Like she said, like, I don't want to have kids right now, but I'm only 19.
Right.
Like very self-aware of how she may change, and that she doesn't know if this interest will kind of like stand the test of time as she gets older. But no, you're right. Like, look, if two people fall in love, like, yes, it's very possible that she loves this man for who he is, this 59-year-old, and that he like is very aware that she's 19 and above the age of consent, and he would never want to do or think about someone younger than that. But there's this attraction. They both have, you know, this kink for an age gap, but also just relate on the levels that they relate, and like maybe they could be happily married.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's definitely like, you know, and it's like you can't tell someone to do their life. She's a legal adult. She could date whoever she wants. But
yeah,
you know what the issue is? There's just been too many cases of older men taking advantage of younger women that like we're all jaded now. So whenever you see it, you're like, there is something nefarious going on. And
you know, the immediate label too, it's creep, you know, creepy
yes.
guy, just like, you know, like, yes, even when she was like, no, it's mostly them making it known that they're interested. And you want to be like, yeah, of course, that feels like the norm of an older guy, like shooting a shot with someone super young. Yeah. Let us know what you think. I'm curious in the comments of like, you know, actually having a conversation around this, and, you know, anyone listening or watching that has been in an age gap relationship like this, maybe the other way around, or is interested. Just curious to see what people say about this one. Yeah.
I guess that's all we have to say for this episode, but thank you so much for watching. If anyone out there wants to be a guest on our show, hit us up. Our email is oplpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, follow us on Instagram, TikTok @OPL Podcast. Like Joe said, reach out. We now put out a new episode every 2 weeks, so we are always reading those emails, and you never know, you might have a chance to come on.
Yep, that is all. See you next time.